Welcome back, Love Stylers. I'm Misty. Today we're going to be talking about why being basic is okay. Because you might be an average person like myself. You know, I'm in the middle class. I have a regular 9 to 5 job. I'm not famous yet. I'm struggling even on this YouTube show because I don't know who's watching. I don't know if I'm good enough. And we struggle with these thoughts every single day. And we try to complicate things, I think, by accident. We complicate things in our lives. So I want to give you some tips today on being basic with your diet or health, your lifestyle, and even your finances. We're going to hit those 3 topics. So stick around. If you want to learn some cheat sheets today, I have the Cliff Notes for life today. Some stuff that I figured out after 4 years of cleaning up my health. I've been on the carnivore/keto diet for the last 4 years. I gave up drinking, gave up alcohol for good, got off my meds for high blood pressure, and I no longer have high blood pressure. And I'm cleaning up my lifestyle, and I'm loving it. So stick around and subscribe if you like this kind of talk. Hopefully I will inspire you today. And stay tuned for my truth bomb at the end of the video. I've been doing these truth bombs. Let me know if you like them, guys. So first, being basic with your health and with your diet. Like for me, I lost 55 pounds in 8 sizes with the combination of keto and carnivore in the last 4 years. And I'm keeping the weight off. Now it's very slow moving at this point because I'm trying to clear out the toxins after all of the years of drinking that my body has held on to. And it holds that fat in, guys. It's harder to lose when you have treated your body badly and eaten bad foods and relied on sugar and candy for your emotions and other bad foods. So first, keeping things basic with your diet means to me, for myself, eating meat, dairy, eggs, and I'm going to add vegetables to that. If you don't know where to begin when you're trying to clean up your diet, meat, dairy, and eggs are the most nutrient dense. I have a lot of videos where I talk about that. Check them out. And I'm adding vegetables today because I've recently started to introduce a little more veg here and there in my life. They are nutrient dense. Vegetables are nutrient dense. So when you add that to the basic principles of the carnivore diet, you have a very nutritious way of eating. So meat, dairy, eggs, and vegetables is keeping it basic. Now, I'm not going to name all the things you shouldn't have because you should know that sugar is bad. Alcohol can trip you up. If you're anything like me, you get addicted to these things. Try to get them out of your life if you haven't yet, guys. And a low-carb lifestyle is what we're talking about here, and eliminating packaged foods, no soda, no diet soda. This is the stuff we talk about a lot on this channel. But keeping things basic with your diet is not as hard as it sounds. Water is one of the big keys, and I know you guys have heard this year after year, but it's really true. I've been implementing at least an extra water a day in my life, and it's just making things feel very, very balanced inside. And your skin will show it. And your moods stay a little more balanced when you have more water in your body. Another thing with your health and keeping it basic that I want you to remember is, if you have never looked at a BMI scale, I'm going to ask you to take a look. It tells you basically what you should weigh if you are a healthy individual. Now, this is pretty on target, I have to say. Some people get very, very triggered by the BMI scale, which is body mass index. It basically tells you for your height if you're fat. Now, I am still fat and overweight on the BMI scale. They also have 2 or 3 other categories: obese, morbidly obese. We want to stay away from both of those and try to stay within the normal range is what we're going for. So look up your height on a BMI scale and take a look at where you should be roughly. Give or take a few pounds, guys. This is not exact for every person because we have different builds and different ways that we hold weight in our body. But it's hard to look at this because a lot of us are carrying extra weight, especially ladies, if you're over 40, we carry it right around the middle. I call it my muffin middle. I don't really like showing my muffin middle on camera. And I don't even really get that naked on camera because I'm still a little shy about the weight I have to lose, and that's okay. I'm super basic here. So looking at a BMI scale is scary. I want you to do it anyway this week and see where you should be, about how many pounds you want to lose if you have no idea. And talking about basic with health and the physical body, of course, we want to make sure we move our bodies 3 to 5 times a week, more than that if you want. And I'm not talking about going in the gym and like pumping iron and getting hardcore, because that can mess up your hormones, ladies, especially over 40. Moderate exercise, light walking, medium walking, strength training, lifting a little bit of weights. And again, this is strength training. I'm talking like 10 pounds. If you can lift 10 pounds, I could barely lift 10 pounds, but I've gotten back into the gym and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I want to keep it basic and get more muscle in my body. I've never really had a lot of muscle. And I know women, we don't want to get muscular, a lot of us, because it's not very feminine looking, let's be honest. But having a moderate amount of muscle, a healthy amount of muscle is okay. The second thing I want to talk about being basic in is your finances. Like, you might be wondering, why the heck am I talking about finances? I usually talk about diet on this channel. Well, I'm pivoting, guys, a little bit. And the name of this channel is Love Style for a reason, because I want to talk about all kinds of stuff that has to do with living a healthy lifestyle. So that includes financially. So I'm going to give you a quick story about my experience with finances in the last about year and a half. Andrew and I started to look at our finances directly. So we agreed to have quarterly meetings about our finances and the debt that we owe. So that means credit cards, you got to put your mortgage in there. You may owe something on a car loan, like most of us do, and other bills. So we sit down every 4 months and look at our finances directly, and we try to keep it very basic at the same time. Please look up Dave Ramsey. He's a hardcore financial expert, and he's free all over YouTube, and he has a very, very basic way to get rid of debt. Now, I'm telling you guys, we did his snowball debt reducing method, and all I can say is we're getting rid of our debt quickly with his method. It basically is paying off the lowest first, which you would think is the opposite of what you should do. The lowest bills you pay off first. And I'm telling you, once you get rid of a credit card, you go to the next one, you get rid of the debt on that one, and it really is a snowball effect that works. So check out Dave Ramsey. I won't go too far into finances because I'm still learning myself. But some tips here on changes that we have made that have made a big difference in the last year and a half of trying to clean up some of our debt, which has worked, have been things like bringing your own lunch to work. Please take the time to meal prep, especially if you're watching this channel. You know that we have to eat low carb if we want to keep our weight down. So making your lunch is very, very important. You won't get stuck buying lunch and not knowing where to go and then eating off plan. So if you make your lunch ahead of time, this is a huge tip. It will pay you dividends when you start paying off your bills. Another tip is to bring your own coffee. Get a coffee mug. They're not that expensive. Brew your own coffee at home and bring a coffee mug to work. If you're going to Starbucks and you're paying between $3 to $6 for one coffee per day, that's $30 a week. That adds up. Do the math, and you will save money by bringing your own coffee. Another way to save money, which is super obvious, but I'm keeping it basic today, guys, just to remind you of these little things we might not just have fresh in our mind. Buying in bulk if you can. Now, you might say, like, Misty, I don't have enough money to get a Costco card. I'm just like single and living alone. Well, I understand, and I've been there. Going to Walmart, getting the big packs of chicken, taking the time to put them in separate baggies is a little bit of a pain in the neck. But it will pay off when you save money doing this. Buying in bulk is one of the easiest things to do. It takes a little forethought, and I love that word forethought because everything we're talking about today requires a little bit of forethought if we're trying to keep things basic in our life. And when you start to see that you can put a little bit of that money in your savings account, at the end of the week, you won't be sorry you bought in bulk. You can go to Walmart. I go to the dollar store to buy greeting cards because, someone opens up a greeting card and it literally is like a few seconds and they probably throw it away after you walk away. And you get the thought across, but you don't have to spend $7 on a greeting card. You can get 2 for $1 at Dollar General. I am cheap, guys. I am frugal when it comes to spending money. I will go to Marshall's. I will look for hours to get a good deal on this top that was $6. To piggyback off of what I said about bringing a lunch, bringing your own coffee to work, instead of paying $30 a week for coffee or $50 a week for lunches. You also want to stay away from restaurants altogether if you can. And a special occasion is a different thing, guys. But I'm talking about eating at home every night. Because, you go out to eat, you have to wait, you have to tip, you have to drive in traffic, you might not even like the food that much, and then basically it's a piece of chicken or a piece of beef that you could have made at home for a quarter of the price. So staying away from restaurants and not getting triggered, which is like a big thing for me. If you are going out for the day, running errands, grab a couple waters. Also, grab your string cheese or a snack you may want to eat on the way so you don't get triggered to go to Chick-fil-A or to go to a fast food joint like McDonald's. And bringing snacks with you is a very good tip. So stay away from restaurants. And another way to keep it basic with your finances, and again, I know this is obvious, but I'm like your big sister today, just reminding you of some stuff. You want to improve your credit score. Or just don't even use credit cards if you don't need to. Sometimes I think we just grab that credit card because it's easier, because then you get your statement at the end of the month and you may think you're going to pay it all off, and then something happens and then you don't pay it off. So you're really paying more for whatever you bought in the first place. So not using your credit cards when you don't need to, I think, is a very good tip today to keep it basic with your finances. You don't want to end up paying $2 for something that cost $1 because you forgot to pay the bill, or you end up spending too much that month and you're just paying twice as much for something when you use a credit card sometimes. It's just something that we fall into. And credit card debt is a big, big problem with a lot of people. And we've been there, guys. Definitely sitting down and looking at these things is never easy. But it is definitely beneficial, and I can speak from experience here, guys. I've had plenty of debt in my life. We won't go into that right now in this video, but Andrew and I are really trying to look at the debt that we do have with a very basic and easy strategy. Another tip is you can use like a non-interest, no interest. When they do no interest for a year and a half, you could use credit cards to your benefits, have more time to pay it off. Just make sure you pay that when it comes in. Don't miss a payment on those because that's when they nab you with the fee. And of course, keeping your receipts when you use your debit card is important, because if you just lose one receipt, you can get nabbed for the fee that they try to give you if you go over your limit. I used to let Andrew take care of all the financial stuff in our household, and now we do it together, and it's a partnership. And he likes that a lot better. Now, I thought, because he was the man of the house and he's better with numbers than me and more disciplined than I, that he liked doing the books, the financials on his own. But he told me this morning that it's much easier when there are two heads in the game. And both of our brains thinking of ways we can save money, thinking of ways we can pay things off, get a better credit score, so we can plan for our future. And this last thing I want to add to the financial part of keeping it basic today is, what about gifts? Now, gifts are a nice gesture. It's a love language of sorts. When you give somebody a gift, it tells them that you love them. But I have fallen into this many times where I have over-gifted for friends or family. Now, this is a good time of year to talk about this and maybe put a little bit more forethought this year into how much you're spending on others. Really, it's important to make sure you have enough money to live and to enjoy your life and to not be strapped for cash and to have a better future coming up and to plan a little bit. Giving a little bit lesser of a gift or omitting the gift altogether is acceptable. Now, you might be being triggered by this and say, well, Misty, you're so cheap, you're not buying gifts for anybody. No, I'm not really. I may have to take somebody out for a Christmas lunch and we're going to have a great time together. But I am trying to pay off some debt in my life. And I have plenty of love to give to those that I would normally give a gift to, a physical gift. You know, I have spent way too much over the years and I could always use that money now to pay off some stuff. So, you know, year after year, you might overgift like I have done with the family, of course, and it comes from a good place. But it really doesn't help you out with your finances when you give too much and then you struggle in your own life. So giving a reasonable gift is very acceptable, and giving your love time, you can also make a gift, you could write a song, you could sing for the family. I know it sounds a little cheesy, but I have definitely done this and offer to help them clean a room or take them to appointments. These are just other ways instead of spending so much on a physical gift. And the third subject I want to cover is being basic with your lifestyle. Now, I know health is part of your lifestyle and diet like we talked about, and so are your finances, which I would love you to look at directly in both cases. But also your lifestyle / retirement lifestyle. Now, I have to work on this, and Andrew and I are working on this now. We just had a conversation this morning about what are we going to do when it comes to retirement. And we don't have a very set plan, and we don't have a lot of money saved either. Looking at the lifestyle you want to live from here on out, not only with diets, exercise, and financial like we talked about, but what do you want to do in the future? What kind of lifestyle can you see yourself attaining? And, you know, back in the day when I was in my 20s and the band was coming up still, I thought, you know, I want 3 properties, you know, in 3 different parts of the country, or maybe even a property overseas. Now, I've had to get realistic because, you know, you only make a certain amount of money and you might be basic or average compared to the world. Now, I want to tell you, there's nothing wrong with being basic or average. I make an average amount of money for what I do for a living, and our music is still on the way up, and it doesn't bring a lot of money into the household. If you want to donate money to Black Eyed Soul, check us out on Spotify, add it to your cart on Amazon, check out our albums, and that helps support the channel. But it doesn't bring a lot of money in. That's our art, and we're still working on that. Let me know if you think our song would be great in a movie. But lifestyle choices for the future. You know, I started to be realistic about this and to say, you know, Misty, you're probably going to get an RV and you're probably going to tour the US in your RV, checking out the different beautiful places here in America. Because you know what? Going overseas to me isn't sounding that great. these days. So preparing for what kind of lifestyle you intend on leading in the future is just as important as living that lifestyle now of good health, better choices, pivoting when you can, doing better in your work, pursuing your art, trying to keep things balanced. So you may want to look into what type of lifestyle you think that would be exciting for you, something that you can afford, something that is realistic for where you are right now. Like if you're my age, I'm 49, I have to start thinking about my future. Andrew and I may want to sell this house and relocate to a different area just to experience the different places and get the energy from those places. That's very interesting to me. And go on our adventure. We'll always play our music and we will always try to pursue our art along the way. But having the finances to do these things that we want to do in the future is going to take some focus. So looking at retirement as a plan for the lifestyle you want to live, I think is just as important as all of the other things we talked about today. And let me know in the comments any financial advice you may have for the rest of us. Please let me know in the comments if you have made changes in your diet and or exercise program or lifestyle to make it a lot more basic, because I love hearing from you guys. Also to the lifestyle, I want to say that if you haven't thought of investments, when you save a little bit of money because you're thinking of your retirement and your future and what type of lifestyle you are going to lead, you might want to think of how you can invest a little bit of that money. And I'm no expert in this field. I'm going to look into it. I will report back to you if I have any investment tips, but it's very intriguing to me because I have an entrepreneurial spirit and I have a little bit of a business mind. And so I think anyway, and I would love to say, let's put some money here and watch it grow. So looking into investments, there's all kinds of opportunities out there, especially right now. It's going to take some research on your part, and the opportunities are available for these things. So let's not forget, looking at investments is also very smart to live a nice lifestyle. You know, when we're talking about lifestyle too, guys, I also want to add, I feel like you should be you. And what I mean is sometimes we want things that other people have. And sometimes I think we should be a little more basic when it comes to really looking at the type of person that we are. Reality is I'm an average chick. I'm a basic chick. And Andrew and I live a very average and basic life. Middle class, regular jobs, and I'm going to keep driving my Honda Fit with the faded roof and the faded hood because it only has 100,000 miles on it. So I'm going to drive that with pride because I love saving money. I don't want a $400 a month car payment. Now that's me. I would rather take the $400, save it, or do other things with it. So to me, that is my lifestyle choice. That is something where I'm being me. And I don't mind if somebody looks at me and says, oh, your car has faded paint. Why don't you paint it? It's not for them to decide. It doesn't bother me a bit. It runs like a top. Buy a Honda. We want to thank you for listening to Black Eyed Soul. That's our music we record right here in this room, Andrew and I. And that is available anywhere you find free music. Thank you for subscribing, sharing, and liking. Send this to a friend who may enjoy it. And my truth bomb here, before I close, guys, is being basic is nothing to be ashamed of. And being average is something that lately I've had to accept. And it's kind of working for me. Being average is kind of doable. I know that you are special. I know that you have unique talents and abilities and features that nobody else has, and something that you can give to the rest of us from the bottom of your heart that no one else can give. But being basic when it comes to health, diet, finances, and planning for your future, I think is a paramount idea. So consider these things we talked about today. Still use your gifts, still accentuate those features that you have, whether personality, physical, or with love. Share them with the rest of us, and we'll see you next time on Love Style. Peace out.